Hello, virtual listeners, and welcome to the web conference series for academic advisors. My name is Marcia Henderson, and I will be your moderator today. Since this is our first series, we're going to go ahead and just make sure everything is working correctly. And actually, we're going to do that for every session. It's just good practice. So if you will first check your audio and video setup, and I'll guide you through that. Go ahead and look at the right-hand side of your screen, the lower right. There should be a purple, pinkish type tab at the bottom. Click on that tab and then click on the My Settings icon. The My Settings icon looks like a gear shift. Once you do that, it will open up the information for your audio and video check. And so the first thing you want to do is go ahead and check the audio information. So you'll click on that down arrow to select the audio device that you'll be using, and then just begin speaking. If you get the indication that you sound great, then just click on Yes, it's working. Although we won't be using video today, it's still just good practice to check that as well. So go ahead and click the down arrow for the video test, and then just follow the same procedure. And if you see yourself, click Yes, it's working. Next, we'll move on to the setup panels. The setup panels are also located in the lower right-hand portion of the screen. And you're going to take a look at the attendees panel icon. It looks like two people, and then you will click and drag the attendees panel. Once you click on that icon, you'll click and drag that panel to the left to enlarge it. For the chat function, there'll be a chat icon, looks like a bubble or a balloon. Go ahead and click on that, and then that will allow you to view the chat discussion. All right. Go ahead and make sure that you remove any distractions so we can have a good learning experience. So close your door, turn off your phone, put your animals, have them go to a different room. Basically just clear your space so you can take the next few minutes to enjoy learning. And finally, we will do a quality check. First, I'm going to go ahead and just check to make sure that I see the red record button in the upper left portion of the screen to make sure that I am, in fact, recording the session. And then for you, for both of us, actually, go ahead and look at the top of the slide. You should see quality check, and then make sure you can hear me adequately. Our topic for today is Thinking Collaboratively, Learning in a Community of Inquiry. And that is really a book. It's by D. Randy Garrison. And for this first series, we are going to do an introduction to the material in Chapter 1 so that we can start learning the information and what it means and how we can utilize that in academic advising. Our learning objectives for today are that you will be able to describe collaborative thinking and explain why it's important and why it is essential to maximizing your learning. You'll also be able to identify two opportunities and also at least two challenges that communication technology brings to collaborative thinking and learning. And then finally, you'll be able to define the community of inquiry framework and why it is important for collaborative thinking and learning. To start it, we're going to look at a brief YouTube video, just over 4 minutes, and the video is actually by D. Randy Garrison, and so it'll give you some brief information as to what the topic is all about. So I'm going to go ahead in the chat feature and just grab the URL link here. And I'll post it right here for you. Okay, there it is. So what you want to do is go ahead and pause the recording, click on the YouTube video, watch it, and then come right back and we'll continue on. Thinking collaboratively. So we're going to just start off with just a provocative question about thinking collaboratively and get some feedback from you to what that might mean. So we're going to do a polling activity. And for a polling activity, the question is, do people learn more and work smarter in highly collaborative work environment? Since you are virtual listeners, I am going to go ahead and start the poll, but what you'll want to do is pause the recording and write down your answer on a piece of paper. So just a second here, and I will grab the poll. Okay, I've set the poll up here so we can look at yes or no responses. You most likely will not be able to see that on your end of the screen, but again, what you'll want to do is pause and write down your answer, whether it's a yes or a no to the question, and then we will continue. All right, let's get into the information and start delving into what it means. Thinking collaboratively. I think for many of us, when we think about really the concept of thinking, we look at it as a very solitary thing. You know, sitting by yourself, thinking about all sorts of things, and then coming to some sort of conclusions or developing questions. And that, of course, is a good thing to do, but it's also very powerful to do that in a group setting. What it allows you to do really is to expand beyond your internal knowledge and the internal perceptions that you have and gain knowledge from others. You know, our experiences are very different. We have a different base for those experiences. We've lived different lives, we have different knowledge, we have different skills. And so when we think collaboratively and work collaboratively, that gives us really an opportunity to learn far more than we could just on our own. It also helps us to develop our metacognition skills because again, we are basically getting out of just our internal environment and we're having an opportunity to check what we think according to how others may view things. Next, we look at how technology has impacted and really affected collaborative learning. Communication technologies have really opened the doors and provided enormous opportunities for us to be able to collaborate more, share ideas, innovate, get information from other people. So again, a lot of opportunities to do that, especially with, you know, all the social media platforms, Twitter, Google, etc. But it's also increased the complexities as well. All of this information we now have coming in, it may not all be relevant, may not all be valuable, may not all be true. And so I think as a society, we continue to grapple with that push and pull of opportunity as well as complexity. Then we get to the concept of a community of inquiry. And what this is looking at and saying is that collaborative thinking, collaborative learning will be able to flourish the most when it is in a culture and an environment that really promotes the free sharing of ideas and supports critical inquiry, asking questions, assessing information. Next thing we're going to do is just test our knowledge a little bit. So what you're seeing on the screen are two pictures, and I'm going to have you to just take a look at these two pictures, and I'm going to practice my drawing a little bit here. We'll label one picture as A, and then we'll go over here and we'll label the other picture as B. So as you look at people as they are in groups, they're working, what you're going to do is assess whether you think those groups are collaborative or not. Is there some collaboration going on? Not really necessarily any right or wrong answers, but just an opportunity for you to look at that through the lens of the things that we've discussed. What you're seeing, is it collaborative learning? Is technology, how is it possibly impacting how well these people are collaborating with each other? So you want to pause the recording and take out a pen, pencil, and some paper and just jot down your thoughts on that for a few moments and then come right back. So we've learned some information today, but what we want to know is what are the practical uses of that information? And so we're looking at academic advising, just some thoughts about how we can use collaborative learning in advising. One way is with training of advisors, whether it's new advisors or just continuing, just current advisors that are getting additional training. Oftentimes training programs are set up in a very lecture type format. So maybe look at trying to revamp that and turn it into a model that's going to be more interactive and will encourage advisors to share their ideas, their experiences, where you can try to do some innovations as a team. And then another practical use is with the first-year seminar. Many academic advisors are teaching a first-year seminar course, and these are with first-year students. It's often their first semester at the university, and so this will write off if you redesign your course so that it will give students an opportunity to really learn how to collaborate in groups and learn how to share information. Those are invaluable skills and tools that students will be able to take with them as they advance in their educational career. Next thing we're going to do is a self-reflection activity. And our prompt today is, what challenges would you anticipate with implementing collaborative learning opportunities in your work, and how would you overcome those challenges? So again, you want to pause the recording, do your self-reflection, and then post it in your missed class summary. And do make sure to provide specific examples of how you would overcome challenges. And finally, let's just summarize what we've learned today. What we have discovered is that collaborative learning models are very helpful and really should be integrated into academic advising activities. What we looked at is activities such as training advisors and teaching, and of course there are, I'm sure we can think of a lot of other ways that we can also use collaborative learning methods. Also, we've learned that communication technologies can really be leveraged to enhance our learning, but we also have to look at the complexities of that and how we can critically evaluate all of the information that is coming in. And then one of the most important, I think, ideas is thinking about the communities of inquiry and how we can really cultivate and establish the type of environment that will really encourage and reward collaborative thinking. To assess the learning for this web session, you are going to complete a quiz. To pass the quiz, you'll need to earn 80%. To access the quiz, you'll log into Pilot and click on the Academic Advisors web conference page, click on Content, click on Week 1 Web Conference Quiz. I've also provided a reference page that includes the information for the book, so you can check that out and pick up a copy. And then finally, just to wrap up, I'd like to thank you for participating in my web conference, and also like to invite you to provide feedback on the web conference. So in your discussion thread in Pilot, start a new thread with the subject, Web Conference Week 1 Feedback, and then tell me what you found useful about the workshop and what you found not useful. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.